Trust me, everything is going to be okay. I hope there have been many times in your life that we have heard these words, maybe as a child being comforted by a parent, or maybe by a doctor during a medical crisis, or by others in some personal struggle. We are in that situation filled with worry and fear, and yet these words give us a sense of hope. In our spiritual life, we are often plagued with a deeper type of fear and of dread. We struggle through our sin, our inability, it seems, to do what we know we should do or not do those things that we do. We're tempted to despair. And so we need to hear these words that Jesus speaks to us continuously, words that I think express the theme of our readings today. Trust me. Everything is going to be okay. We've come together on this fifth Sunday of Lent. It is the last Sunday before we will begin Holy Week with next Sunday's solemn celebration of Palm Sunday. And we look back over these last 4.5 weeks of Lent, and hopefully we have experienced the joy and the strength that comes from this time when we spend it well, this growth in our spiritual life that will come from self-discipline and self-denial. And yet we also, in all likelihood, know that disappointment that can come from intentions not fulfilled, from the weakness that continues to plague us. So the church gives us these readings that I think are meant to console us and strengthen us in hope. Our first reading is a great message of promise and of consolation. The chosen people have repeatedly ignored the call of God, and yet the Lord does not abandon them. Through the prophet Ezekiel, the Lord calls them, and then symbolically now all of us, his people. Despite our unworthiness, he calls us his beloved. He does not condemn them, and he does not condemn us for what we have done, but he promises what he will do. I will open your graves. I will put my spirit in you so that you may live. I have promised it, and I will do it, says the Lord. You see, our holiness, our success in the spiritual life is not really our task, one of those too many chores that you and I need to do each day. Our holiness is God's task. It is his work that he desires to accomplish in us. St. Paul emphasizes this in our second reading, that God gives life to our mortal bodies through his Spirit sent to us. And then, of course, our gospel, in a most remarkable way, shows us the power of the life that God wishes to give us. This event of Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. It's such a magnificent gospel in which tragedy and triumph come together. Lazarus suffers through the agony of death. His sisters suffer through the loss of their loved one. Their call to the Lord is unheeded. He arrives seemingly too late. And then there is that dialogue between Jesus and the sisters, their obvious faith in him that has been shaken. Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. And then we see the power of Jesus' words, a power that is greater than anything on earth, even death. Lazarus, come out. Indeed, this is a unique and a miraculous event, but I hope all of us see that it is not just something that happened 2,000 years ago, but it's one that has continuing universal application to all of us, here and now. How often do we have grave circumstances that threaten us, for which we so ardently seek the help of the Lord? Family issues, sickness, financial worries. So many things plague us, and we plead for God's help. And so often there seems to be no answer. As in our gospel, it looks like God is late in arriving. The situation worsens, and it only looks more helpless. At some time and at some level, you and I must engage in this most profound reflection that is undertaken by Martha and Mary. Do we believe? Do we trust in him? Do we have faith that even in tragedy, the Lord can bring, indeed that he will bring, good out of every situation? Upon hearing of this condition of Lazarus, Jesus says, this illness is not to end in death, but is for the glory of God. It is what he says to us when he hears of all these conditions that plague us. He hears us and he will never abandon us. He can never abandon us. He is constantly working in and through every situation, seeking to burst forth in those difficulties and challenges that are ours, to give us consolation and strength amidst that trial and turmoil. So now we are nearing the end of our Lenten journey for this year. What will be our response to all of this? Will we now recommit ourselves during these last 2 weeks? Or will we maybe give up since we haven't had much success thus far? In our gospel, we are told that those who saw the raising of Lazarus from the dead began to believe in the Lord. And yet in the next few verses after our gospel, we are told that some reacted differently, that the chief priests and the Pharisees began to plot his death. How will we respond? You and I are offered this treasure that is our Catholic faith. We are given every assurance by God of his never-failing help, and we are promised the fullness of his life unto the glory of heaven. He says to us, trust me, everything will be okay. Again, in those words of the prophet Ezekiel, in our first reading, that assurance that is clear and definitive. I will open your graves. I will put my spirit in you that you may live. I have promised, and I will do it, says the Lord. Do we believe him?